Yeah, hold on. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talk about it. Ooh, that boy a critic, yeah, he talk too much. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talk about it. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talk too much. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talking, he don't live it. Ooh, that boy a critic. Ooh, that boy a critic. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talking, he don't live it. Ooh, that boy a critic. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Mic check 1 2. Peace. Big love. Big blessings.
Mic check.
Even bigger living.
Yes.
You are tuned in to Thinking Out Loud with Samuel David. It's just a conversation. Listen, man.
That's it.
I got a special guest today.
And I'm excited to be here, bro.
Listen, hold on. I'm gonna break it down real quick. I'm not even gonna refer to my notes yet. I got a special guest. A great friend of mine. I feel like I say that every time, but when you spread love in real life, everybody's your friend.
Absolutely.
I got a great friend of mine. He's a director.
Yes.
He's a former COO.
Yes, absolutely.
A father, a husband.
Yes, more importantly.
You feel me?
Yeah.
All conference football player.
That too.
Come on. Squarian.
I appreciate you, man. Look at this.
Come on, man. Lyricist.
Yeah.
Hip hop artist. Just dropped the amazing single, Whoa.
Yes.
Today I got Mr. Freddy High in the building. What's up, baby?
Thank you, brother. I'm here, man. I'm glad to be here on your platform, and thank you for allowing me to be here on your
100%. 100%.
Bro. You giving me all my graces, but look what you're doing.
Oh man, come on. No, this is about you.
But you talked about this for a while, and look, everything
Yes.
you talked about comes to fruition. So, bro, I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm
100.
glad to be on the platform, man. I'm here, and I'm excited.
Yes.
We've been trying to make this happen, so that's good.
Yes, indeed. I'm excited to have you.
Yes.
And you know, when we get together, it's almost like a challenge of who's gonna give who the biggest praises, right? Because it's just a real love thing, man, and I love that, man. I ask everybody this to start the show off. How's your spirit?
I'm great, man. Like, I'm in a really good space right now. I think for me, last year was a little bit more difficult.
Well, you can move that up too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just with some family things. But I think for the most part, like, I'm just in a really good space. You know, my son just hit 2.
Ooh.
So that's just a different level of fun there. You know what I mean? I'm used to girls, so I'm a daughter first, and so she made it easy for us. This boy, something different. So,
Yeah.
But I'm in a great space, man. Want to continue to impact the community, impact these kids this summer. It's been a crazy summer. Where I'm at, and man, I'm in the best spirits, man. And marriage is great, bro. Like,
I like
you know
that.
What I'm saying? I've been, like, my wife is like the best. So.
It's hard to leave a house if marriage ain't straight.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Or you can come back to the house if it ain't straight. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
So for me, bro, I'm in a really good space right now. And mentally, I think that's so important in our society right now. But I'm very intentional about that. I do intentional things to make sure that happens. So
I like that. Man, it's wild. It's like, it's weird because every time I get somebody on here and I ask how's your spirit, it's like y'all read my notes first.
Oh, really?
And everything you talk about is what I'm gonna talk about.
I love it.
From the family to the summertime in your director role at the Y.
Yeah, absolutely.
To the music, to everything, man. Because again, you moving and grooving, you moving and shaking. But you're a running back, right?
I love it. I like the hat too, bro. You got the Lakers. I see you. Sometimes they be hating but we gonna be all right.
You know, it's an old Jay-Z lyric from a mixtape. He said, "You don't even know me and you mad. How I feel to be a hater. Now I know exactly how I feel to be a Laker." One of my favorite bars.
Love it.
So you talked. I'm gonna skip over a couple things real quick. So you talk about being a boy dad.
Yeah.
Man, it's different, ain't it?
It's different. It's the boys. They want what they want when they want it. You know what I mean? And I think this has probably been the best for me on my patience and understanding that. Like, I think having a child was amazing. It worked on my patience. Like, my wife would tell you, I'm a very impatient guy. You know what I mean? And I've always been that way. But I think over these last 3 or 4 years, it's been important for me to work on my patience, even in my role, but just in general of like, this boy is really like challenging that, you know what I mean? And so I feel like I'm mastering that patience, you know what I mean? Before that, it was me mastering empathy and making sure that I'm always being empathetic and looking at things and being transparent. But now I've really shifted that focus. For me, it's just that patience, bro. Like patience in everything. I even say it in some of my lyrics. Like the one thing I understand is more patience, you know what I mean? More than anything. And so you just gotta be patient around everything. Your time will come for everything. But those boys are just they different. Like the other day, my man's is on the couch, like, and he's seriously trying to jump off the couch, and I don't mean jump and land on your feet. You know what I mean? Like dive.
Belly
like
flops.
The floor is like hardwood floors. You know what I mean?
Does he say watch this before he do it?
Nah, he
Because
just
Lil Sam would he'd be like, watch this, and I'm like, bro, you're not supposed to do that. So, and you bringing more attention to it.
Nah.
Like, just do it if you're gonna do it, then let me react.
At our house, you just gonna hear a thump, bro, and you praying to God that he's good.
100.
But you know what I'm saying? I just wait for that cry afterwards. If he don't cry, I know he's straight. But I'm telling you, that's been it. But I've been blessed, bro, because you just see a little mini version of yourself in so many ways.
Is it humbling?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely attached to his mom. Like I can't sit here and say like,
yeah,
I wanted a girl first. Everybody knows that if you're close to me.
100.
But like, it's something about that boy that's different, and I'm not sure I was even ready for that. I think if I posted my our reveal video, it was a long time ago, but if anybody saw that, I don't look happy.
Word.
I was just shocked, bro. I was for sure it was another girl. I just thought it was gonna be the guy that's gonna have all girls, but and then we're good. So 2 is great. Like,
2 is
great.
great.
The boy,
Yeah,
he's doing his thing. All he do is run, bro. So
yeah,
you know, I would love for him to be in football and basketball, but I ain't gonna push him. You know,
100%.
I ain't gonna lie, I see it. Though.
You see it.
Yeah, that's what my dad said.
That is dope, man. That's dope. I love talking to brothers about the children, man, because like for one, we got this bad stigma, but married brother, we really out here like leading homes and taking care of business in such a magnificent way, and it's a fellowship where our kids are able to see and reciprocate what they see. Like when I was talking with Brandon Johnson, I'm like, yo, it's dope to pull up at your crib and my kids are able to see who they see, right? And it like sets a bar. I say my kids are spoiled.
They are. They are.
You feel me? But then I think, are they spoiled or are they just in a different space? Because like my son, the biggest thing that drives him nuts is if he don't get money for V-Bucks, right? So I watched The Pivot. It's one of my favorite podcasts.
Crazy.
Channing is crazy. I ain't gonna ask no crazy sex questions on the show.
My man is crazy. If he ain't there though, it's a
dynamic.
different dynamic. But my man be asking some off the
Going wild.
I know. I like.
You feel me? It's one of my favorite. I'm watching it, and then we was in the car. SJ was like, "Yo, Dad, I don't want to listen to music. Can we watch The Pivot?" So I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You got a basketball player? Because he's a hooper. He's trying to get his thing off." So I put on Michael Beasley, right? And if you watch that episode, it was an intense episode to hear Michael Beasley's background, what he's been through and things like that. So I'm sharing with Lil Sam, like, bro, do you realize the privilege you have? And you have to, it's ironic, but you have to hustle 2 times as hard because there's kids that don't have it that are dying to get it.
Exactly.
Right?
They'll do anything.
They'll do anything to get it. And it's that gift and the curse of like our kids being able to be in a better position than I was growing up, right? As they grow up, but it's just beautiful to see.
You know what I appreciate about it more though, Sam? Is like, I love being around people I grew up with, and we now have kids. And that is, to me, is a bigger testament to anything because you have to understand relationships are a complicated thing in all aspects. I mean, even how we started, you know what I mean, to where we are now.
Let's not talk about you reading the questions. You see it.
We're not gonna talk. I'm gonna let you get there. But the most important thing about that is like to be able to now turn around and know that people when I say we really grew up together, people say that you're like, oh man, y'all knew each other from like it don't seem long ago. It was a minute ago.
It's a minute ago.
What I'm saying? So when you realize that, and then you have children and you mature as adults and you kind of find out exactly what life is all about, you start to appreciate things differently. And I think our kids are spoiled, but they're spoiled in a good way. Like, I would not want my kids to be able, like your kids growing up in the neighborhood you in, bro. Like that for me is like, that's amazing. Like you could probably like go to sleep like with your garage door open and everything's good, right? Like,
100%.
Everything's fine. Like you could probably pull your car up in your driveway and leave your clothes online. That's not something I think any of us were always used to, you know what I'm saying? So
not at all.
Once you start putting your kids in that position, that's success, bro. And not only that, we're young and we're black and we're doing that on a level where we're part of our kids' lives. I mean, how many people do we know grew up in, single parent households?
Come on.
No matter what the situation is. Mine was a little bit different. My mom passed, so that's my single parent household. So I got a situation where I got issues of not being able to cry or know what that's like and deal with that as an older man. So I think for so many different things, so many different dynamics that come through with our culture, the one thing I appreciate the most about our kids is like the people that I grow up with and that I'm still connected with, and us our kids being able to connect on that level. Your daughter will always remember from me because she was impactful in my daughter's life when she was super young. I mean, all of that transition time, we were all connecting then. And Zora used to love to be around you and Brandon's kids and Kyle's kids, and that was always fun for her. So, Yeah, man, I'm appreciative of it.
It's dope. I love that. It's a great energy, man. Yeah. And you talk kids and how close we are growing up with folks, and you in a position, right, where you at the Y, so you see a lot of kids on the daily. You probably see kids who their parents and stuff like that. What is it like when you see when you see the youth coming through, and they may not always be on their best behavior, but you know that you may have some type of connection that can relate to them and bring them in more so than some other folks may have.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, that's actually every day, bro. It's actually a struggle for me, to believe it or not, because most of the kids that get in trouble at my location, I know their parents. And the other part of it is, like, I saw something the other day, and you ain't gonna believe this. It was about a month ago. X sent me a text message. It was on Facebook, and it was like, if your kid is at the North Ward right now, you need to go pick them up. Yeah. Because they fighting up there or something.
I seen that.
And it like broke my heart, because that parent has no idea that the people that were fighting, the director that runs that facility looks like your child and can relate to your child. And you gotta understand, I can't control kids fighting in my location. I'm gonna tell you what really happens. Right. The summer comes and parents send their kids to my YMCA. Now, if we're talking about any kid from the age, think about when you were 12 to 17, all the emotions, all the maybe things at home, you might be banging, there's so many different kids. If you don't think there's not anything gonna happen, you crazy. I got facility monitors, I can do anything, but we also got a situation where I'm at a YMCA where a lot of the urban kids come to. Yeah. And I'm a face. I'm hope, bro. 100. When I look at them, like, I'm straight up hope. If anybody would have told me that with my attitude, that I was gonna ever be running a YMCA or be where I'm at, that's cap. Word. You know what I mean? Word. You're not even being real with that. And so when I go in every day, I gotta remember that I'm hope. Like, when I literally say that, so I'll bring a kid in and we having a different conversation, other than like a night manager that I may have who isn't of my race, that has to approach completely different.
And they lack the empathy in some spaces.
And they totally lack the empathy. So the approach is wrong. So what happens? What's gonna happen with that confrontation?
Come on, you don't hear me, so I'm gonna be loud.
It's gonna go left.
However I'm gonna go.
It's gonna go left. And so that happens a lot. And so we're doing training on that. How do we approach kids that don't look like you, and understanding the culture that they come from? You may come from a 2-parent household. I'm not saying this is just about kids of our race or of our culture. It's everywhere, bro. And I'm the most diverse branch. I have the most diverse staff. I feel like, and that's no knock on any branch. Like, I love the Y, but when it comes down to it, we're there to make an impact. Yeah. And sometimes we forget that, right?
And I think people in all roles of any type of service, that's easy. It's easy to lose that, and it's easy to lose humanity when you're being served sometimes.
And I'm telling you, it happens all the time.
It's a real thing. That's why I'm glad you mentioned the two. I think the two biggest love languages for the world. I'm gonna get deep. That's where we at. But that empathy and patience. And everybody doesn't have the emotional maturity to be able to navigate conversations with folks, right? Under conflict, under distress, right? In a space where everything is documented, right? And so that's an even greater challenge, because then there's a balance between being extremely authentic and still doing what you need to do versus like, okay, they got me on camera, how can I navigate this? Like, it's wild, and people don't think about that in real time.
Absolutely, man. Like, he changed my life, bro.
Come on, man.
People won't understand that, and I'll go deeper into that. I want to just touch base on one of the wild things, just like, I just want parents to understand that there's somebody at the North Branch Y location, and I'm not a night manager. I'm not a membership director. I done been there. And in all honesty, with the most humblest of ways, I'm the executive director of the YMCA. 100%. So when I look like, when you thinking about your kid coming to the YMCA, I want to know who your kid is. I want to know who you is as a parent, because I'm letting you know right now, I'm in a space where I control whether somebody gets a job or not. Yeah. You know how powerful that is? And I didn't even understand it, because I struggle with that from my people. You know how many people come to me about jobs, and I was supposed to give them one, who never supported, never knew that I was an executive director, or came to me, or knew what grind I was putting in. I was with the Y in 2006. I seen that. So let's make it clear. I've earned where I've gotten, but I'm also in a space where I can put kids in a space to earn money. And see somebody who looks like them that can be hope, who played college football, who does music. Like, half of the people don't know I do music. There'll be a big connection with that this year, I'm sure. It's already happening for me. But the thing about it is as long as I'm representing who I am, and that's for any young black kid in Wichita.
Yeah.
Represent who you are. It doesn't matter the scenario. I was an artist before I was ever anybody's executive director. So
100.
if anybody think I'm going to change that now, that's crazy.
Because it's in you.
It's in me.
And what's in you going to come out.
Absolutely. But I still represent us in a way that's professional.
100.
And I would hope to be a role model for your child. So.
Ooh, man, if I could clap it up without it being super loud on camera, I would clap that up. Because again, it's important. Representation is important. Yeah. Pouring into the youth is important because they're the future. I mean, if you get as corny as what he said on Coming to America, I believe the children are the future, right? Or you the Tupac lyrics, right? But it's dope when I see brothers that are on purpose moving in that space.
Absolutely.
Funny story, and I think I told you before in real life, I was at the studio with Corey in Scooney one time, in J Love, and they got to talking about Coach Hightower. And I'm like, word? I never knew. Yeah. Freddie's pops was out here in the community like that back then. Like,
my dad's like big in the community, man.
Yeah.
All the youth play for my, like, honestly, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, a lot of kids come in, bro, I played for your dad when I was young.
100.
Right now, I can't say his name, but he played for my pops, and he older than me. And he's in a really good high position, and I never even knew that. You know what I mean? And so that's credit to my dad. Like, he poured into a lot of kids, you know what I mean? He poured into me too, but it was from a different perspective, but he poured into me as well. So
100. So as a kid, how did that impact? Because I would think I coach my son's basketball team, but I ain't like the in the trenches, like intense type coach, right? Day to day, setting the whole game plan. I'm the motivational guy. Like I'm the let's get it. You feel me? But what is that like as a kid growing up with a pops who's pouring out into so many? Like, do you feel part of that? Do you feel like, man, I wish I had more? Or is it like, that's daddy getting busy? Like, how does that look?
Honest with you, I don't think I understood or even appreciated it till now, bro.
Word.
It's crazy. Because my dad always poured into me, but my dad always wanted me to play football. He can say whatever he wanted to, but dad wanted me to play football.
And you want the same for Kaz now?
Yeah, I've gotten better. I've been it would be my dream to see him put on a football helmet and go out there. But I want him to be happy and enjoy what he's doing. Like, I've been doing that for Zora. Like, God knows I want Zora hooping right now. Like, Zora knows I want her to pick up a basketball, but we ain't picking up no basketball. She dancing and gymnastics and track. That's her thing. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna respect that, and I'm learning to step back. So hopefully when we get to that point, I'm better with that. But
I know that feeling because my daughter is a solid like 5'5".
She's taller than me.
She's cold in track, but she does not want to hoop. Like, I even told her, I give you $200 if you try out for the basketball team. She said no. And I respect it because so many people tell her, oh, you so tall, you should hoop. So I love that early you like, you know what, I'm going to let you do what you do. Because not a lot of athletes, I have different mindsets as athletes. It's a different level of discipline. It's a different level of the way y'all approach and execute. So to hear you even say like, yo, I respect it, I'm gonna let her do her thing. That's dope.
I got to. I have to, and I realize that because you'll push early and you'll break early, and you just gotta be smart in that in any aspect. And even for my father, when like you were mentioning that you were just asking me whether or not I wanted more. I told you I didn't really appreciate it until now. I felt like what I was getting, I was supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm supposed to get up and go to practice at this time. Word. People don't know, but my heart is sport. The sport that made me who I am, and I'm never afraid to be in a fight because I was a wrestler, bro. Like, people don't know that. Like in the community, if you talk about me, you're talking about my wrestling prowess. Like, I was a 5-time state champion. I'm not even trying to like beat that up, but wrestling is what made me a dog. You know what I mean? So when I got on the football field, it just automatically transpired because wrestling is one-on-one. You know what I mean? And so it's like, bro, you either gonna go there or you're not gonna go there. You know what I mean? And to win, bro, sometimes you gotta get mad. You know what I mean? And that's hard, because think about it. Sometimes it's been a while since I've been in a fight, but the one thing I always remember about a fight is like you get to this point where you're upset, and then you get to this point where you are uncontrollably upset. You know what I mean? And it's like so much, you're so mad you'll cry. You know what I mean? Like, whatever gonna happen is gonna happen right now. And that's how a lot of people get into trouble, because you don't know you at that point. You gotta be able to recognize it, and you black out and you do something crazy. And so I remember wrestling was the one sport. My dad started me at 5. And big shout out to some big community people, Charles Knox, Toast, rest in peace, like Kenny Taylor. His dad was basically a second dad to me, who got me up every day and took me to wrestling practice. If you can do wrestling practice, bro, you can do anything.
Because you gotta maintain weight.
You gotta maintain weight. And if you know Coach Knox, like, it's Hard Knock Wrestling Club. When we in there, bro, it's 90 to 100 degrees in the wrestling room every day. We 11 years old, and we get in the doghouse, and Coach Knox is just pouring discipline in us. We was all like, I can name everybody: Thomas Rose, Stevie Moore, Michael Bradley. Yeah. All of us was dogs. Like, you just wasn't gonna run up on us. And so what it came down to was just like, it wasn't even about fighting. It was just about gaining confidence as a young black man. Like, understanding the importance of like being confident. Half of the people ain't good at basketball because they're afraid to shoot, bro. You not making nothing unless you pull it. I tell myself all the time, I think football, I was good at football. I would have been basketball all day long if I was more confident in that realm, bro. Yeah. Just shoot the ball. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get everybody involved, and that's cool. But at the end of the day, I was challenged in different areas, and that's what wrestling did for me. It gave me that confidence. And so when I was good at football, it gave me more confidence on the football field. I remember going to college my freshman year, like, I don't care who's at running back. I'm about to move up, bro. And I was sixth on the depth chart. You can ask anybody. I was sixth coming in as a freshman, bro. And they knew I'm about to go.
This is at Friends University.
This is at Friends, but I was at KU first. That's what people don't understand, man. We can go deep. Like, people don't understand. And this is what I work with kids on now is like, you have to be cleared through the NCAA clearinghouse. Half of the cats, so shout out to Nook, and I'm saying this right now, and I'm giving your flowers. I'm giving your flowers now, but when you talk about a cat who's really impacting kids because he's talking to them about that. You know what I'm saying? If I had somebody that young talking to me about getting cleared through the NCAA clearinghouse, I'd have been playing Division I ball at KU. I go all the way up, and I'm not even cleared through the clearinghouse, so I can't practice.
Oh, wow.
And if you don't get cleared, meaning in our grading scale, we can go, I got kicked out of middle school. My dad sent me to a private school.
Word.
Long story. I got kicked out for fighting. Allison Middle School. Got kicked out in 7th grade. I got sent over to collegiate, and that changed my life too. 100%. In a sense of just understanding there was more out there for me. But our grading scale is different too. So like a 92 at collegiate, bro, is a B. Yeah. Like, that's a B. You get an 86, 85, that's a C. That's a C. When those grades transfer over to college, bro, it doesn't matter. That's whatever you got is how you got. So your ACT score got to be a certain score, or your grades got to be a certain level. So if you compare my grades to a public school grading system, I'm flying with colors, right? So I wasn't too worried about it. So I didn't get cleared, and I couldn't practice. So I had two options. I could either come back home. And go to Butler, and I'd have to graduate for a JUCO, or they're gonna send me to a JUCO in Kansas City, which wasn't far from Lawrence, bro. Yeah. And when you young, like, I had Gab back at home, like, I'm going home, bro. So I went home, and I even set out for a year and I quit football. Ain't that crazy? Word. And then my friends have been recruiting me forever, but I told myself I wasn't going NAIA. But that's just a dumb young trait, stubborn trait. Yeah, absolutely. And coach called me. He's like, man, I heard you back in town. What are you doing? It's like, you need to get up here and come try out. So I went up there, and the rest is history, bro. So, yeah. So, I mean,
you played with some beats. You played with Brandon Johnson.
You played with
my dog, D'Angelo.
D'Angelo, that's my guy. How's he doing? My man, D'Angelo is a wrecking ball, bro, on defense. Defensive line used to just go crazy on cats. JR Phillips, man, we had a crazy squad. It's the first time Fred's had won. I don't even remember the last time they won conference, but we won conference 3 years in a row. My last year, I didn't even play because I was done with college, man. I was all beat up. But I'll tell you, like, we had some dogs on that team that just didn't make it Division I, and we all of us was at different schools, and we came together and was like, man, let's go up to Friends and rec shop for Wichita. And Brandon Johnson was already on that team, and he was killing and running. We had Chris Randolph as our quarterback, and then they brought in another cat, Alex Malusian, and he went nuts. And then once Alex came in, our team just went to a different level, and then a lot of leadership. So it was good, man. Like, I don't take those times for granted because it was almost not.
It almost didn't happen.
It almost didn't happen, bro.
Wow.
So to lead the league and rushing and all that stuff, I was grateful for that.
That's a major accomplishment.
Yeah.
I want to dig into some more of that because you're talking teamwork. You're talking elevating your life. Like,
absolutely.
Before college years, like having to change the way you see in the world. We about to jump into some more stuff, but before we do, I gotta holler at my sponsors.
Let's do that, please.
So we're gonna take a quick pause. I'm gonna holler at my sponsors. You see the beard
oil.
My dog, Richmond Prince with the beard oil.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back. Whether you are buying or selling a home, Sometimes the most important decision that you're going to make is finding the right agent and choosing the right agent to represent you throughout the entire process. Well, Kerry Dunn is that guy. Kerry's with Next Home Excel and is a licensed real estate agent and has been in the game for the past 15 years. Kerry is one of the top producing agents in Wichita and the surrounding areas as well. Listen, buying a home is a big investment, and it's important to have a full-time experienced agent working with you, having your best interest at heart. You can definitely count on Kerry to be responsive to all of your needs, to be knowledgeable about the entire transaction, from contract negotiations to home inspections to appraisals to close. Visit KerrySoldit.com if you're looking to buy you a new home right now. If you're selling a home, it's equally important to align yourself with an experienced agent who will walk you through the critical stages of pricing your home correctly, as well as preparing that property for the market. At Next Home Excel, they have the best tools in the industry to help you showcase your home to get the most exposure, including professional photography, 3D walkthrough, plus more. Again, visit KerrySoldit.com to get your process started. Welcome back, beautiful people. All right, so we talking really how you was building the man you are now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So teamwork. You talk coming back home to Gab.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Wife. Man, you know, I asked my wife. I was like, "Yo, you got any questions for Trey?"
Yeah, but that's dope. Hopefully,
you know,
she was willing to.
She had a great one.
Yeah, that's good.
And you know, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit from football to, I was about to say real life, but it's all real life.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to talk let's talk married stuff, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're gonna get to the music for sure.
Oh, don't rush that. Don't rush that. This is the fun part.
Like, you married your high school sweetheart.
I did, bro.
You married your high school sweetheart, and y'all were married before having kids.
We were married before having kids.
I remember scrolling. Like, hold on, let me step back a little bit. Your high school sweetheart, and a lot of people don't know, we used to have beef.
Yeah, we used to have beef. Yes. Back in the day,
back in the high school days, because I was being a hater. And I say that openly. It's a real thing. I was being childish. Gab was one of my great friends, right, back in the day. And I remember she was like, "Yo, my boyfriend's music is on the radio. Y'all should call in and vote for it." And I called in. I was like, "The song sucks." I was just being a hater.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you talk about being a fighter, and you pressed me at the high school, right? And I remember that. And I remember, like, damn, I'm out here being a kid, being silly, but bro, take this shit serious. Right? And this before I knew you.
But I also had a bad attitude, Sam.
I get it.
During that time, bro,
yeah.
I had a bad attitude. The ex used to always try to keep that shit under control. It's crazy because I'm opposite, but I had a bad attitude, bro. Like, I didn't let nobody say shit about my ex. I didn't let nobody say nothing, bro. Like, it was there, but that's that childhood trauma, bro.
100%.
Feeling like you gotta be hard and feeling like you gotta, stand up for yourself. But ultimately, bro, like, I was happy to be on the radio, and I was upset about that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
All this said, not. It's not like, you know what I mean? We don't even get on the radio here, but I know what you mean, bro. So
it's dope now because now you are genuinely one of my best friends.
Yeah,
right? Even if we don't talk every day, like, just knowing that when we do talk, it's the biggest level of love.
And I want to take it to the next level too. I think there's some more stuff there that we can continue to tap into.
100%.
I'm excited about that.
100%. It's a Virgo Cancer thing.
Yeah.
It's really dope. Okay, so I just had to share that story because I grew up with your wife.
Absolutely.
Right? So you and Gab, high school sweethearts, married how many years now? 12, 13?
12, bro.
12 years.
Yeah, so we got married in 2009. I might be off a year.
Oh, don't be off a year.
September 24th. I know the day.
You know the day. That's all that matters.
I think we're going into 12. I'm pretty sure we're going into 12. It might be 13, but it's 12.
We just hit 11, so I want to say y'all either at 12 or 13. And I remember this because me and wifey had Sanaya, then we got married.
Yeah.
Right? We planned Little Sam. But I remember looking at you and Gab's pictures like, damn, they always tripping. They always on a beach. They always somewhere. They always they taking things to that level, right? What is married? This is what wifey wanted me to ask. What was married life like before kids compared to now?
So first of all, tell your wife thank you.
For sure.
I appreciate that. I get to see her in the gym every once in a while, and it's just fun. I really want to connect and build on that relationship too.
Yes.
My wife talks about it all the time. But anyway, it was incredible, bro. And it's really the foundation of our marriage. And I don't think we understood it then, but we were very intentional about not having kids at that time. And I think when you super young, and I appreciate and I respect the high school sweetheart, but people really truly don't know that I started dating Gabby in 8th grade when she was at Brooks. So there was a lot of stuff that transpired, even her growing through being in high school and her going it to herself, and boys coming at her, especially on the team. Like I know all them cats, you know what I mean? I know them cats, like I'll never forget them cats. She knows I know all. Like we were super transparent about our us dating, you know what I mean? And so I was a freshman, and she was in 8th grade. No, I was a sophomore, and she was in 8th grade. I was getting ready to go into my sophomore year, and Gabby lied about what school she went to. She said she went to East, and man, we could go into that story. My friends will tell you like how crazy that story is, but it's a super funny story. And when we all get togetger, I'll make her tell it. And so one time she was over at my house, and her mom came over, right? And she's upstairs, and we're just sitting downstairs, and my dad's talking to her mom. Her mom's like, "No, Gabby's in 8th grade," and Gabby looks at me. She lying. It's a funny story that she telling. Yeah. Ultimately, bro, like that's what changed everything. Our parents met super early, and so we liked each other super hard. Like, you know what I mean? We really liked each other. You know, you think you're in love, but you just really like somebody a lot.
Puppy love. Like, you're a kid. You don't even know what love is yet. Right? Yeah.
She get another boy's number, and your heart is like broken, bro. Remember them shit just crushed, like. But
get the letter that say anyway. I always thought it said Northeast way, but anyway, like
absolutely, man. So we went through that. We went through a lot in high school, and that really built our foundation. And so when I felt like we had been dating for forever, we had been together for like 6 or 7 years. I felt like, yo, we need to be married now. And also our mom was like, "You gonna marry my daughter?" You know.
Okay.
At the same time, I'm like 23 at this time. I'm like, man, am I doing this too early? Or maybe I am getting old. I think about it now. I'm like, I was young as hell. Like,
word.
But the one thing that we were able to do is build like the foundation of trust. And of course, we both made mistakes in our marriage. Not in our marriage, in our regular relationship that helped us better off in our marriage. So when we made those mistakes, it was like I had to decide as a man, was I ready to commit? And that's early for a man, you know.
I know that. You know we got married at 24, and I wasn't shit before then.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. When you think about it, I wasn't thinking about it then, but I really had. And this is just being transparent. I broke Gabby's heart super bad before we got married. And it wasn't no sex stuff either, so I'm cool with that. Like, I'm cool with talking about it. But what it was is like, when you talking to somebody else, and you're giving them the energy that you should be giving to your girl. And your girl find out, that's just a different level of
heartbreak. It's emotional.
So we had already been through a lot of things. And mind you, we're only 7 years in at this point. So I'm thinking to myself, like, the world is about to end. But the truth of the matter is, all of those things were going to happen, and they needed to happen. So I understood as a man, like, was I going to commit? And I started reading, like, and I felt like I'm thinking about it now, like I'm young, like, and people know I can't stand reading books. So I do a lot of research, right? It's like, what is marriage for real? Like, I had people around me who didn't believe in it, and then I had people around me who believed in it. I had a dad who lost a wife when he was married. So there was just a lot with it. And so I just started researching for myself what I wanted for myself. 100. And I'm a Cancer, bro. So I want a girl, and I want to have my girl. That's my girl. You know what I'm saying?
100.
That's just me. And so I really learned that I needed to make sure that if I was going to take this step, that I was going to be committed as a man. And this is the right hand. God can strike me down. In my marriage, I've never done anything that I ever have to worry about. 100. There ain't a phone I got to check. There ain't a password I got to check. There ain't a chick that I got to worry about. There ain't nothing. I ain't never cheated on my wife in my marriage, and everybody knows I stay true to that.
Come on, man. Ain't it dope when your wife's name can be a password?
Absolutely.
And you can shit like you feel me? Like, it's that.
And the thing that's dope about that is we just learn as men that that's an important aspect of what your wife wants. It's like, out of respect, if you're a man and you can't control that, then you need to go and get out of your marriage and go do whatever it is you want to do. So I told myself, if I got to the point where I needed to do that, then me and Gabby didn't need to be together. No.
100%.
What that did is I established a foundation. And then, bro, we messed around and went to, I asked Gabby to marry me in San Diego, California. And I'm nervous as hell on a trolley ride, so I do this week trolley ride, right? Just to get me paired up while they set up the hotel, bro. I swear to God, I'm on this trolley ride, and the trolley ride is like, you know, when you first start traveling, you do these tourist things of like, we should go on a trolley. It's a detour of the place. So the person's like, over here is like that. Bro, I don't know what's going on. My pits is sweating. Like, I'm about to ask this girl to marry me, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I should have been did this, but I'm 24. I'm like, nah, I shouldn't. I should have been a little bit longer. get off the trolley ride, and I did that, and then we had some of the most amazing experiences of my life. And people don't know, but like the first time I ever seen the ocean is I was playing, like I played baseball in high school, so I was dope at baseball too. So I played baseball, and we had a camp, and if you know, like at Collegiate we play year round. Bro.
Okay.
So I had to get used to a lot of stuff when I transferred because I was a multi-sport guy. Like, but we played, so we had summer. They sent us to Cocoa Beach, Florida, bro. I ain't never flown before. I had some work I had to do though, so I had to go and do some tutor stuff that I had to do to even go on the trip.
Yeah.
They flew me by myself. The first time I flew by myself, and I'm like, damn. So the first time I flew, they flew me by myself to meet with the rest of the team when we go down there, bro.
Yeah.
And we're in La Jolla, and I see the ocean, and my shit just went like.
It's different.
It's different.
See-through, it's clear.
There's so much life out here.
Sounds beautiful.
It's in California, so it ain't even blue like that.
Okay.
It ain't even blue like that.
This ain't the Mexico, Caribbean, Jamaica water.
Absolutely. I just see
Okay.
a bunch of kids who don't look like me sprinting out to the ocean.
Yeah.
Like to jump in. I'm like, I ain't going out there. But this is beautiful. You know what I mean?
Word.
That trip, I just thought there was more to life, bro. And so we got back, you know what I mean? I'm telling my wife about it. And we ended up taking our first trip to the Cayman Islands.
Word.
And we seen the Virgin Islands, and that was the bluest water I ever seen. And I told myself, like, we're going to do everything we want to do before we have kids. So, bro,
100%.
that's something we committed to. So I'm going to give y'all a little tip. You know, I'm big on budgeting, so I took
Yeah. Let's talk money. Let's talk it. Yeah, talk that.
I took some of my paycheck, and I just put a little bit of it to the side. And then I started knowing my bank could pull out money for me, so I had to pull out a vacation account, right? And so every time I got paid, we just tossed a little bit of money in there. And by the time you're ready to go on a vacation, you got your bread is there. You're not tripping about it. You know,
100%.
Came out. You know what I'm saying? If you think about it, you go to McDonald's once a week, twice a week.
Yeah.
Just take that bread and put it to something like that, bro. So the first time we went, and that was it for us. That's all I need. I snorkeled for the first time.
Yeah.
I saw some, like at some point I was crazy. I was out by the sandbar. My wife was like, you crazy. So I go, I'm by the sandbar. If you know the sandbar, you out there. You know what I mean? So I go underneath, bro, and I see this sea turtle. I'll never forget this, man. We about 40 feet. You know what I'm not 40 feet deep. I'm saying that's how deep. I'm out there. You know what I mean? And I see this sea turtle, bro. This thing is bigger than one of these light things.
Yeah.
And I ain't never seen nothing like that. It scared the crap out of me. So I start swimming back or whatever. I'm like, I seen a sea turtle. Like, it's crazy. And so moments like that changed me forever, bro. And from there on, we was traveling. Cayman Islands, Virgin Islands, Bahamas.
I don't want to cut you off, but I got to share a funny story because you talked about the sea turtle. Yeah. We went swimming with the dolphins one time.
Yeah.
I think it was our honeymoon, actually, or the trip after our honeymoon. But we went swimming with the dolphins. I'm 6'3". I don't really swim though. Yeah. I can normally walk where I'm at.
Yeah.
I get on the dolphin, and I was scared as shit.
Yeah.
So much so, wifey laughing at me. The old white lady that just rolled the joint is laughing at me. But they ain't feeling my pain though. Yeah. Like I wasn't feeling that dolphin. Like it was a little scary.
It must be moving.
So it's funny because that sea life, man. Sea life is real.
It's different, bro.
It's
and
different.
I mean, and at 24, that's not something I had saw before. Yeah. I know where I come from. This ain't
the Sedgwick County
my dad still ain't seen the ocean, bro. I'm taking my dad to see the ocean. To think that nobody in my family had ever even been on a boat, I said in a song. Like, that to me is generational changes that needed to happen. Yeah. So I needed to see the world, bro. So me and my wife, we agreed that we was going to travel every year. We was going to go 2 vacations, bro. Not only did we do it, we took it to a whole nother level. Now we travel like it's nobody business. Like, we just know how to travel now. Yeah. But it also built this foundation, man. So when we had kids, man, like it changed the game for us. You know what I mean? We had several years before we got married. Yeah. Before we had kids, we were married. Like, we were married several years, probably 6 years before we had our first child.
Before that, it sounds like y'all were getting to know who you were while y'all were both getting to know each other.
We was able to make our mistakes before we decided to really do the thing that, to really commit to each other. And that's just life changing. And then when you build that foundation in a marriage, that's what it stands on. 100%. If you building the foundation on a foundation that's not a good foundation, there's going to be barriers that are broken. We got barriers, bro. There's certain things we're not going to say to each other. Y'all will never ever hear me call my wife a bitch. It's never
100%. Yeah.
But It won't happen. That's a barrier, right?
Yeah.
That's something that I don't cross, because once we step over that threshold, now we've done it. So where's the next barrier? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not no disrespect, but I think there are girls like that are out there. My lady ain't in that category, so I'm not even gonna refer to her like that, right? And so there's just different, different aspects. And don't get me wrong, like I'm not saying whoever did that today.
No, listen, but it's I think even in anger, right? That's the big thing about conflict resolution, and folks skip out on conflict resolution, like being able to navigate your thoughts in the moment. Like I have a thing where if me and wifey are like getting kind of intense in our conversation, and what I'm saying or what I'm trying to say is not coming across as what she's hearing, and she starts responding to what I'm hearing, I have to be like, please, hold on. So before you answer that, here's what I'm trying to say, because you're going to answer that, and that's not what I was, and that's going to take us way over there.
And you're going to go to a different level.
Right, and that's important. Communication is key, and knowing when to communicate. Like if you pissed off, and even if it's not at me, like if just life got you there, and I feel like I need to be the one to resolve it, which I'm not the one to resolve it, but I want to resolve it because you're my wife, right? I have to be able to respect, like, okay, right now she do not want to talk, right? And it's those things in relationships that are truly only built when you have that foundation, when you've been through it to even get there.
You know, we're not gonna
you feel me?
Like this, because you are the type that don't. If we're arguing, you need to process.
You feel me?
You're probably like me. I want to listen.
I want to get. I'm impatient. I'm impatient in conflict.
I really want to get this resolved.
Yeah.
It don't help that I'm a director too, so I deal with those conflicts on a different level because I have to address them immediately.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Bad habits can lead to bad behavior. So at the end of the day, like it comes down to what you're saying, like knowing your partner. Like if you're okay with that and being okay with that, you're gonna be in there, man. So that's the move right there. Making sure you know your partner. Don't just be arguing. Sometimes it ain't worth it, bro.
It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
Sometimes I'll plead the fifth. Hey, we good. Hey, I pick and choose my battles, bro. Some of them ain't worth it. You just need to know which ones aren't worth it.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Man, I read the I study, I guess I would say, The Way of the Superior Man. And it's a great book.
What interview?
I already know what you're about to. I watched the Nipsey Hussle interview before he passed.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, okay, let me dig into that. Because he said his girl put him on it. His wife put him up on it. I'm like, oh, okay. But he said, if you a weak nigga, it ain't for you.
Yeah.
And there's some challenging stuff in there. And I grew up with no pops. I grew up, like, my uncle was my father figure, but I never had, like, nobody at the crib to guide and shape me in a masculine way, right? A lot of feminine energy. Mom did what she did. But reading that book, it's like a chin check to your testosterone levels, to your masculinity, right? But one of the things that I really appreciate in that book, I don't remember which chapter it is, but they talk about how you can't be mad at your girl for changing her mind, right? Like, for the most part, feminine energy, and this could be in men or women, either way, it's just the energy, right? The feminine energy is emotional.
A lot of feminine energy, bro. They don't want to do it.
Virgo too. Like I'm sensitive sometimes. I'm more petty than I am sensitive.
I agree. Me too.
It's a real thing, right?
But there's a reason for that. You know what I mean?
Feel me? And we're gonna get into some of that too. We gonna. But I love that they mention like that feminine energy is more emotional than logic. So just because she might feel a certain way about going to the movies right now, and then change her mind when you get home, don't mean that you don't still push for it.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of fellas, again, weak niggas, hey, y'all gotta step your game up, brothers. Step your game up. Push through the issues. Push through the challenges. Push through the attitude. And I say that out loud because I'm still working on it myself.
Yeah, if it was easy, everybody would do it, bro.
Come on.
You gotta push through this.
Come on, man. And it's the most rewarding. I'm off questions, but again, we in here. What did you find the most rewarding? And this might be a double question. What do you find the most rewarding between being a father or a husband? Because it's different.
Yeah. The most rewarding thing from a husband standpoint is I just want my wife to be able to know that she's got somebody who's always going to represent her in the right way, no matter in her presence or not in her presence. Because that also goes like I'm a representation of my children too out there in the public, and so that's something that's super rewarding for me. But also like I'm a committed man. Like, that's a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like when I tell you I'm so comfortable with that, I'm so comfortable. I'm actually more like. Yeah, like when I get dressed down and we about to go somewhere, I'm even more like, you know, like I'm about to drip out.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm committed. I'm so happy. And that's a rewarding thing. Like I know people who are in marriages that are super unhappy. That means you're just there.
You're just there.
You know what I mean? Like you're not even present. You're just there what kind of life is that? Like, I would much rather go through the agony of going through a divorce than being unhappy.
Than being unhappy at home.
That's crazy.
I always wonder, like, how does it get there? And we won't, because I got some, because we'll go forever in this space. But because, I said it on the video before, but I really believe, like, the most confident man is the happily married man. Now, not like everything is roses and peaches, but like, yo, I'm having tough conversations at home. I'm having real conversations at home. I'm receiving love at home. I'm giving love at home. So I'm not worried about anything on that side, conflict-wise. You can't push me. Like, the person that matters the most to me just pissed me the fuck off. And we work through it.
Yeah, we work through it.
So what are you going to tell me? What are you going to, like, and it's a different energy.
You can't say it more real.
Right.
I even think from a kid standpoint, the most rewarding part for me is, like, there are days I wake up, bro, and I'm like, those are my children. Like, and it blows my mind. You know, last night I put my son down, I was looking at him like,
yeah,
it's crazy to me. Like, it's still crazy to me. Like, we made these kids. Like, when you think about, well, I have kids when you're young, but I have kids. But when it really happened, bro, it's different. Like, when you see that shit grow up and you see your daughter growing up to who she becomes, like, you had a big part in that.
It's different.
And that's a different feeling, because
it's wild.
Not every parent gets that. I love the fact that my kids got two parents. Like, they get to wake up every day and it's like, these are my parents. Like, you know what I mean? They come to my, my singing things at school, my concerts. My parents are there. There's my parents. Not every kid can say that.
Every kid don't get that luxury or privilege.
Rewarding things I can speak to, man. There's so many rewarding things about being a parent, being a husband. But the two biggest things I'll tell you is definitely me just being present and know that I'm a committed man and I'm happy. And then on the flip side of that is definitely my children. Like, just being able to see, like, Zora loves me. Like, when I say unconditionally, like, the love is so hard it hurts, bro. Yeah. Like, it hurts how much that girl loves me. So it's like, when you don't want to let somebody down, that's just a different, you know what I mean? It comes a different thing. So it's a lot of pressure to be a parent, but I'm telling you, being a parent is no book. You just need to be present. So any man out there, like, if you're struggling right now, even if it's your baby mama, like, and she makes it super difficult for you to watch your kids or vice versa, I need you to, like, just push through that and, like, understand there's a person on the other side of that you're responsible for, that you need to ensure no matter what, that girl gonna start respecting you at some point, because you want to be a part of your child's life. And I'm gonna fight to the death. Big shout out to Sez Batters. I'm gonna fight to the death to make sure that happens. And I'm proud when I see young black men do that, that struggle with that, and vice versa, because there's women in that situation too. So I'm very, very clear about that. But push through that. Those are difficult times. They don't last.
I love that, man. Come on, this is great conversation. Awesome. It's real conversation. I'm gonna take a quick commercial break, but I got a part with the my favorite thing about these kids is they think I know everything. They be asking me questions. I'm like, yo, what? Like, what's Michael Jackson's middle name? Like, what are you even asking me? Like, I don't know. How do I know? So it's a beautiful thing to be a hero and be held accountable at the same time, because they're gonna hold you accountable.
My album title.
What was that? Which one?
More Black Superheroes.
More Black Superheroes.
He stole it. I promise I had it. He stole it. And I love his album, because y'all know I'm a Boogie fan, West Side Boogie. I love my guy, but I wish the title would have went with the album a little bit more. But I love the album. I love the album. We ain't gonna get there, but I love the album. I just wish that title. That
title's crazy. More Black Superheroes. Yeah, I need a little bit more. Listen, we're gonna take one more commercial break, and then we're gonna jump into some music conversation, because it's that time. Be right back after this word from our sponsor. JRMortgage Group is a proud sponsor of Thinking Out Loud with Samuel David. JRMortgage Group is founded and based in Wichita, Kansas, and its sole focus is to offer its clients and referral partners the best mortgage experiences. Buy, build, and invest with JRMortgage Group. With JRMortgage Group, anything is positively possible. Give them a call at 316-247-9639 or visit the website at jrmortgagegroup.com. JR Mortgage Group Incorporated, offering personalized mortgage solutions, fast customized quotes, great rates, and service with integrity. Not all borrowers will qualify. This is not a commitment to lend. JR Mortgage Group is an equal housing lender. Again, JR Mortgage Group, jrmortgagegroup.com. Back from break. Thank y'all for tapping in, tuning in. I'm still here with my guest, Freddy High.
Absolutely. Here.
We've been talking family, a whole lot of real life things. Let's switch to the music.
Let's do it. Let's do it, my man.
So
excited about it.
Used to go by Bling.
I used to go by Bling, and the bling transition, man. It was difficult, but but I honestly didn't balk at it. I got to give a big shout out to Mike Summers.
Okay.
Seven. And even X. I mean, we were coming back from a meeting with the label, and then also South by Southwest. It was all in one, and things were really like moving. Like you know those points like you always want something to transpire for you, but you're not sure if that's really happening. It was really happening. Like we're walking into a label meet. We got 4 or 5 shows at South by Southwest in a weekend. I remember Kendrick shooting his video inside the South by Southwest place that was rented out.
Word.
And I mean, it's on YouTube now. It blows my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're coming back from that South by Southwest, and Seven was like, bro, like, I know you've been bling for a long time, and I know that's what you are, but like, as we move forward, I'm not sure if that name, as we move forward, like we got to be realistic. Is that name going to stand the test of time? And the truth of the matter is, if you were to ask me today, like his name is Bling, like why? Like I'd be explaining why my name is Bling all the time.
Word. It's almost like a novelty.
Yeah. So.
Word.
And so we had to be realistic about it. And then when we were thinking about like, well, if I'm not gonna go by Bling, when am I gonna be called? And people don't know, but my legal name is Frederick Hightower III, and it blows people's mind every time I say that. Why do you go by Trey? Well, I go by Trey because I'm the 3rd generation, and my mom has always called me Trey when I was coming up, and so we just cut the first name up to Freddie instead of Frederick, and the last name Hightower to High, and just made Freddy High, and it flows so well. It felt good. It felt natural. It felt authentic. So that's kind of the story there.
That's from Bling to Freddy High, and I think like when I think Freddy High, like I think J. Cole, Jermaine Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Chris Barnett, Samuel David. Like it comes with the level authenticity, right, and responsibility. Damn near when you are going by your real name in rap,
it's a whole different level. And at that time, I don't even think I knew. Most people weren't even going by their names like that during that time. You know what I mean? It was just like it felt like it wasn't my full name, but it felt like it flowed well. You know what I mean? I've never liked Frederick. Like hey Frederick, or hey Fred, little Fred. You know, I call my dad Fred, and I don't like being called little Fred. I don't like being called Fred.
Word.
I don't like being called Frederick. So Freddie, I had to get used to. Now it's like normal. Like, what up, Freddie? Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy, but yeah, I mean, it really is normal, but it does come with a sense of responsibility. But I think when you're out there, there's a sense of responsibility. And as long as you keep yourself the way you're supposed to and the way you want to represent yourself, everything should fall into place the way it's supposed to. So
that's a fact. It's funny you said you don't like being called Freddie or Frederick. I hate being called Samuel. The only person that called me Samuel is my mom's and my grandma, R.I.P. But I call me Sam. But people still call me Big Sam. Yeah. Which I'll be like, no, I changed my name a long time ago, but it's stuck.
It's gonna stick, bro. It's hard to get rid of those, man. 100%. Once they there, like it took people years to stop calling me Bling. There's only a couple people that still call me Bling, like Dara. Big shout out to Dara. They know like that's Bling, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, and there was just a lot with Bling. Bling was the attitude guy. Bling was the rah, like not afraid to get rowdy if it need be, and quite frankly, I'm past that. You know, I'm long past that, man. I feel like I've been Freddy High my whole life, to be honest with you.
100%.
But yeah, so
that's fire. That's fire. So as Freddy High, coming to your own, getting your thing off, right? Like you had an opportunity. Shit, that's your brother. XV and the Squarians.
Yeah.
Looking at y'all like Dipset, G-Unit, like y'all move as a unit.
Yes.
Like it's a genuine foundation, and you gotta love it and respect it. Like what lends to that? What informs that? What cultivates and really what keeps that type of foundation? Because rappers, we got egos, bro,
and we got a lot of pride.
Yeah.
There's a lot that keeps that going as a unit. One, you got to have a strong top 2 foundation. I feel like if there's one thing that's always been consistent with XV, no matter what, besides his music and him consistently always releasing stuff, it's Freddy High or Bling. Like, I've always been there. Like, people don't understand, like, I've been there since 02, 03. Like, you know what I mean? So that's 2 decades. And so when you do that, there's a level of loyalty there. We are day apart. Literally 1 day. And I feel like same year. I feel like that's God, you know what I mean? Same hospital. Right. It's crazy. And so when I feel like that's God. I feel like it's him saying, you know what I mean? Like, there was just something always there that I knew was there. Yeah. And people don't know this, but before there was ever Bling or Freddy High and XV, it was Blaze, and he goes by Blaze Your Face now, our hometown celebrity. Shout
on Instagram. To Blaze Your Face.
Yeah, there was that before that, and that was my best friend, him and Cortez Witcher. You know, like we were road dogs. We all played sports together. Me and Prince played baseball together and football. Me and Cortez played football together. Cortez is still my road dog to this day. So is Blaze.
Shout out to BIV.
Yeah, but Cortez is my guy. He supports me now to this day. He'll pop up at a show. You know what I mean? So I got mad love for him. But before that, like, X heard, and this is why this gonna blow your mind. Me and Blaze had an album called Trey 16, and it's a really good project for how young we were. And X heard it, and we were sampling on that bad boy. Nobody was sampling in Wichita but X.
Okay.
So it's like, these cats know how to sample. I knew everything about samples. Now I couldn't rip them. I couldn't do none of that.
Yeah.
But X called me. We met at Raji's studio actually and did this documentary. This documentary is old to Wichita. If somebody find it, I need it. But there's a documentary back in the day, and me and X did it together. That was the first day we met, and from that day on, bro, it was on. Like, he invited me over to the crib the next week. We started first draft. We had a song called Bad Boys that went on mp3.com, and it went to #1. Which is unheard of, and we were just going nuts because we were from Wichita, bro. And like, I would never be able to show Wichita how crazy that was because at the time we were so far ahead of our time, and I'm always credit that because we were already on the internet. We already knew about forums. We already knew about blogs. Like, there wasn't even a blog era yet. We already knew about blogs. We created our own blog, which was a forum. That's basically what a blog was. And now a bunch of people can come and comment on this. I remember Win calling me from Heights. Win, shout out to DJ for the Win, who was Eclipse at that time. But yeah, it goes back that far. My man was our DJ, and he went to Heights, and he called me one day when he was at school. He's like, bro, everybody in here on the computer is on royaltycity.com right now.
Word.
Everybody, bro. I know we doing something right.
Yeah.
And this is when
is like Black Planet Day.
Yeah. This is MySpace. When we were me and X is just getting out of high school, but our crew was still in high school, so we were still tapped in through that. But we knew the grind was there, and everybody around us wanted it so badly, and that was the feeling that we had. We fought, like, we would argue, but I'm trying to think of, like, we have never as a crew had a big blowout. There's a bunch of people that left the ship, Hollywood, and jumped off the ship and came back on Rock. And I still see Bryce to this day. A shout out to Rock. Bryce, he would never like me calling him Rock, so my bad. But Bryce and Win, and Win was Eclipse. Man, we had Chris. I mean, it was everybody, man. The whole squad, and we just let them, you know what I mean? And they wanted music so bad. We wanted it so bad, and it stayed. And then I just think I learned loyalty through all of that.
Yeah.
Because loyalty is a big thing. Like, if you're I learned it through friendships and everything. Like, you treat people the way you would want to be treated. And me and X, we didn't know about signs then. So it all makes sense now. But and I'm not saying signs are end all be all. They're not. But like, I think there's different unique traits that we had that allowed us not to ever fight so bad that we didn't want to talk to each other.
100%.
You know what I mean?
When I think to signs, I think like in the corporate space, like they have you do Myers-Briggs and Berkman test, the personality joints. I don't know about daily horoscopes, but I've recognized that like signs, like the traits and the personalities in there, a lot of time coincide with
It'll blow your mind.
Test in the Myers-Briggs joints. It's kind of deep. It's kind of interesting.
I challenge rappers to really even not get into signs, but getting into knowing more about. I would say more about your sign, because I think it allows you to be able to navigate with other rappers with egos and prides a little bit differently. You know what I mean?
People in general.
It helps.
If you know I'm a Virgo and I am extremely
it would make
to
so much sense.
And I nitpick and I talk too much when I'm excited. Like, I'm not as annoying in real life, because you understand where it's coming from.
And that's the key. if you're not gonna understand the people you have friendships with, there's no point in you having a friendship, because if you're gonna look at them as not being perfect, you're gonna be disappointed. And I tell this to everybody, whether it's my staff, whether it's the people I rock with. Man, stop putting expectations on other people, because you're gonna continue to be disappointed. Right? You have an expectation for yourself.
We judge ourselves off intent, others off actions.
Absolutely. You keep putting expectations on other people, you're gonna have a problem. So 100. For me, I knew the one thing I was gonna learn is how to support X.
100%.
It wasn't gonna be about when can I get my shine.
Yeah,
bro. Like if I'm around him all the time, I'm only gonna get better. I'm in spaces that ain't nobody in these spaces. You know what I'm saying? And I never. You can go back. Like if you truly look at it, unless me or X are doing a project, we really don't do a ton of songs together. Unless it's a project. I was on Kid with the Strapback, or the Dude with the Strapback Dad. That was important for him because he was just bringing it. He was getting off the label and coming back with a project. So I was on that. But for the most part, if you look at his projects, unless it's like a Squarian thing or a thing we're doing together, because we create better when we're making like projects.
Iron sharpen iron.
Yeah. And so we don't do a ton of songs together, but we write a lot together. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm never afraid to say, well, perfect example, and this shows you how transparent we are. But I have a song called Grove Park on the section, and it's one of my favorite records. And I played it for X and my sister, and I say my sister, that's because that's X's girl. Like she's literally my sister. And like they didn't respond the way that I wanted them to respond on a record that I really liked. It was the first time. It was the first time I had to say, you know what, like let me just be an open-minded individual. And because she had probably had more of an influence on not really feeling it. She probably doesn't know that I know that, but I think X told me. But like, he was like, bro, I just, the verse is there. I'm not worried about it, but I just think the hook could be better. You know what I mean? So there's 2 versions to Grove Park. So big shout out to X for making me change that hook. Not making me. He doesn't make me do anything. That sounds crazy. But we challenge each other. Absolutely. There's been things I told him like I don't feel that hook. You know what I mean? Once you get to that point in your relationships, and I mean that because our friendship is a relationship, whether 100%. You look at it that way or not, y'all gonna be great. Y'all gonna be amazing. You know what I mean? So allow other artists to come in your space, and that's where I've been the best at. The reason why the section is where I feel like it is, it's like I love that project so much because that was the first time I opened up as an artist, and I allow people in a space that I'm not necessarily comfortable in.
100. And I did the same with Sound Advice. Like I let Flim. Really kind of executive producer, and it changed it because I'm sensitive about my shit. I don't want to hear nothing nobody else got to say. You locked in. Let me ask this though: you talk XV, and I just have to know that the influence goes both ways, right? So not only is he influencing you, but you're influencing him. And as you're in your career as an artist, seeing him in the spotlight, like he's probably the biggest to come from the town. Yeah, right? Absolutely. And you right there, locked in arms with him. Yeah. Being in these different spaces, in these different studios, in these different cities, these different tours, how did that encourage, challenge, or influence you to take your writing to the next level, your song making to the next level, your overall artistry to the next level?
Yeah, I think I was in spaces that really made me nervous for the first time. Word. You know what I mean? I'm not around X. I tell people like, you can go in the studio with Just Blaze. I don't care who you are. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you love Just Blaze the way we love Just Blaze, we were Jay-Z fans, bro. I can't nobody. I know every Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? Jay-Z was the god to me. So when we talk about producing, even when Kanye came around, I was like, man, he ain't better than Just though. Word. You know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is they both had different styles, but Just was so influential in our careers. Yeah. And the fact that the day that I got to see X with Just was like, that's success, bro. And I was so proud of him. But at the same time, I also remember X having to do a verse. Yeah. Like now. You know, like we in the studio now, and that let me know. And I can even tell it's not even the first time I saw pressure with X. He didn't run from it. He went in there and knocked the verse out. Wow. But it was both of the time where you look at one another and it's like, this is this is real. You know, and Seven's in there, and Seven's like a really, really good producer, but he's a fan of Just Blaze. Yeah. That's what people don't understand. Like, Seven was just as good. We don't even know that, though, because he's such a fan. Like, dude, we're in here with Just Blaze. I'm like, his drive is right there. There's at least 3 Jay-Z verses that aren't even released on that. Yeah. I mean, I want that drive. I mean, we were there. You know what I'm saying? So that, in all aspects, whether it was Mac Miller for the first time, you know what I mean, and meeting him and him being so genuine. Yeah. But at the time, I didn't realize, like, these artists, they could have been big-headed, and they weren't even huge at this time, you know what I mean? X being in the studio with Kendrick, I wasn't there for that. Word. But that like, he was in the studio with Kendrick. They had to pen textbook stuff. And that's a level of, like, all right, bro, you can either, and people don't understand at this time, shout out, I'm still working at the Y. So I'm a night manager. I'm hopping on and off tour. X will tell you some of the craziest stories, bro. Our discipline was stupid nuts. Gotta be. It was stupid nuts, right? Yeah. I wish at that time I would have took more risk and more chances, though. Because there were times where I should have probably been there, and I wasn't. And I think it would have changed a lot of things. But X was his own man at that time, and I think for the most part, it challenged me to just be a better artist, and that's where I needed to grow. And you can see that. You can definitely see that on Squarian's Volume 1. That's when I started to come into my, like, I tell people all the time, go back and listen to that project. I'm not proud of the things I'm rapping about on that project. I wasn't going wild, but literally we were on tour and those things were happening. Like, that's all real, but those things were happening. And I wasn't big. We weren't rapping about guns or anything at that point, but definitely rapping about things, you know, what we were doing on tour, things that you do real on tour, real life. But I was becoming way better. And I remember writing this verse that's, I'm mad that I'm not remembering the song right now, but it's at the end of Squarian's Volume 1. And the verse is like an extra, it's probably 22 bars, and X, I think, had 1 verse on there, and I remember going crazy on the verse, but it was so natural. I penned it in like 15 minutes. 100. And I spit it, like, and I probably did like 1 or 2 takes. And that's when I was like, bro, I'm getting better. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm getting better. And it was apparent. He was in the zone. Yeah. And then when the first draft EP dropped here a couple years ago, right before the section came out, it was apparent that brother, I don't know what happened over the last 2 years, but he's such a better rapper. And I heard myself. I'm a better artist. I hate rap. I hate the word rapper. I'm a better artist because I look at all aspects of how you ride the beat, me changing up my flow patterns. Like, I'm that deep into it. And so, that's what you are in a, like, you hands down one of my favorite rappers. We gotta make that known, bro. Like, I just feel like, something like, I was riding today because, I gotta do my research. You my man's in real life. I still gotta do my research. Yeah, you got to. And I'm riding, listening to the section, and I'm telling wifey, like, yo, Trey really raps. Yeah. Like, and the quality is like, it's in. That sounds so corny to even say it's industry level, but it's like it's at a professional musician level. It has to be. And then I watch how you move online and the love you get online, the different folks that are doing different reviews and things like that. Like, you really moving it. You moving it, right? Do you feel like at home, because how I see it, you're bigger than the crib, right? None of us are bigger than the crib, but like, your reach has extended past this thing early in your career. Yeah. Right? So do you find yourself in a space where it's like, okay, now let me take care of home now? That's where I'm at right now, man. I'll just be honest with you. Like, the music is doing well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my streams are up. Like, it's crazy. My monthly numbers are up, and I pay attention to those things because it's important, and it's a real testament of where you're at. You know what I mean? And big shout out to X. I'm not gonna say a lot of my streams or things didn't come from people knowing who X was 100%. to be able. But what I'm getting now is I'm no longer X's boy. That boy, he can rap too, though. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like, that's X's boy, but he can rap too. And I think that's where I felt not disrespected in any kind of way, but like, at the end of the day, like, am I doing something wrong? Like, I dropped the section and it did everything I wanted it to do. Like, I'm so proud of that, but I don't feel like my home appreciated it as much because, like, there was a level of the mix that was so important to me. There was a level of lyricism that was so important to me. I have a song called Grove Park, and if you from the town and you grew up playing football at Grove Park, that makes sense to you.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying, hitting 55 coming down hillside for no reason, the Maxima still glide. Yeah. Those are real bars. Like, I'm really in my Maxima. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
This one for the home, how I still slide. If I don't get the hate, I don't feel right, but it feel like the flow been authenticated. Yeah. Stay in my lane until I penetrate it. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to, like, those like bars are so like valuable to me, and I know what they mean, and I know what I'm speaking to, and I just didn't feel like it was embraced. But I can't have that expectation again. There it goes. Like, I thought the expectation was I'm gonna drop this at home, and I'm gonna get the respect of being in those crowds. But the truth of the matter is, don't nobody owe me nothing, bro. And I had to accept that. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go earn this. 100%. And that goes back to that wrestling, football, discipline. And so now it's like when I drop, I'm going to be intentional about making sure the quality's still there, that it's hard, and that people know, like, yo, he the director, but like, before I was ever anything, but before I was a branch director, I was an artist. And I'm going to always be an artist. I'm going to always do music. I'm not going to ever stop doing music. I don't ever look at that stopping, but I do. I want to establish something different. So now it's time to take care of home. I want it to be embraced at home. I'm telling you, I want to be in those circles. I want to be in those crowds. I tell you all the time, if you got something you getting ready to go to, there's no reason I shouldn't have been at the Blackout Awards. You know how bad that made me mad. And just me getting to the point, and not for as an artist, just to be there to support the culture and what was going on.
The Wichita Renaissance.
And so I called Sam, like, bro, what am I not doing? Like, am I not on Facebook enough? Because y'all know I can't stand Facebook. So
because Facebook is local. Facebook is home. Twitter is a long ass text message. Instagram is
and y'all know I stay on the gram is my thing. So I've never really embraced Facebook, and I needed to. And to be honest, I was off of Facebook for a decade. So I had a Trey Hightower page with the same picture. I went in there. I had like 50 messages from people that had sent me birthday wishes from years ago. So I just want to apologize to anybody that I didn't respond to on Facebook. I stayed away from it because there was a lot of negativity on Facebook right away, but that wasn't good for me as an artist at all. And not only that, I was juggling, like, I'm moving up in my career and just understanding kind of where I wanted to be. So I just was trying to get a music page. So I left my main page so they can let me get the music page, and I wasn't even promoting on the music page. So part of that is me. Two, don't nobody owe me anything, and I respect that about Wichita. There's still prideful ass rappers out there, a lot of them. Like, I see y'all. Like, you know what I mean? I want to be clear with that. Like, it's still pride, but when it comes down to it, like, I'm going to make quality music. I'm going to always represent Wichita. There's always going to be things in my...
It's that east side.
Yeah, east side, northeast side. Y'all know I grew up, where I was born on 14th and Popular. If you watch one of the videos, you can see my old house. I actually put it in one of the songs, and then we moved over to Vassar, bro, and that's over by Brooks and, like, you know, over Grove Park in that area. And then that's where I grew up at. You know, my grandma was on Erie, right there on 21st, and that's where I roamed at. Prince was on Shady Brook off of Grove. We rode our bikes. That's where we grew up at. So all of that. So if you see the section, if you look at the album, all of those spots are on the cover. Like, there's just different things that I did intentionally on that project that I don't feel like was embraced and appreciated. And so that's why I appreciate it so much. And the mix is nuts. It sounds like you riding in a car. We was very intentional about that. The songs blend into each other. It's really a really good project. But it's now, I just feel like it's time to establish myself here. And it's not about establishing myself outside of X. Like, I'm who I am as an artist. At the end of the day, X is always going to be a part of what I do. He's going to be a big part of the section. He's going to be a big part of my last album. I'm going to be a part of his albums. And we don't care about none of that, bro. 100. That's why we always winning, because I never cared about it being about me. It was always about the team and how can we put X in a position to be successful, because then we would all be successful. And that's exactly what happened. But I'm ready for that hometown, like, let's go get it, you know, type feel. So foot is on the gas right now. And also I need to do more features. You know what I mean? That's real.
You know my favorite feature of yours?
Biffa.
Bitch, I'm from the Dub. Now, I'm not even being biased in that. It's just a great song. It's a great verse. It's a great insight in that 16 into who you are.
Yeah, and it's been a while. Like, you know what I'm saying? I penned that at the studio. That's how I knew that song was going to be great. Like, that. I wish people knew how that night went. It's very, like, people need to know that story, and I wish you would tell it. You should tell it. I'll
share a little bit right now before we break out. So High Key Biffa was a single, myself, solo joint. I even got the old the reference file,
Yeah.
right? And me, Freddy High, Kyle Ellison, we linking up to get to the studio just to get some shit off. We're going through various, and tell me if I'm remembering it wrong. We just going through various tracks, various instrumentals, and I'm like, okay, fuck it. What y'all think about this one?
Yeah.
Play Biffa, and it was a jammer. Like everybody's rocking with it easy. It was really.
This the one. It's the one.
It's like
absolutely.
That. And it was intentionally. It was written on purpose, right? Like even if you hear the reference, it's kind of funny because it's like, bitch, I'm from the north side, like that Texas flow. Because here at home, people love that.
Of course,
they love that
absolutely.
Texas flow. So let me give y'all something familiar. We're gonna shout out everywhere that we from, where the section we from.
Yeah.
Right. Different perspectives. It was dope to watch you write on a laptop standing up. Shit was crazy to me.
Yeah, people don't know my writing.
Like shit like that is crazy. Yeah. Like, and it was just fun. It was a dope energy in the studio, and I hate that we didn't do more. And I feel like it was on me because I don't communicate well. I didn't communicate well in the creative space because I just be going like what this podcast started because I just wanted to think out loud. Right, it's just a real thing.
There's a lot to it though, Sam. You can't take all the blame. I think I honestly, bro, I've grown up more since even then.
Word.
Like I think for the most part, I was so reluctant to even like get together as a team, and it wasn't because that I didn't want to. It's like, what are we doing it for? And I remember you even asked that question when we all sat down. Mm-hmm. But once I was there, bro, I was like, actually, we can create something crazy. And people don't know this. I have Black Kings on my phone right now, the actual record, and it will blow your mind how good that song is. But it made me go like, wow, like we created that in one night. Mm-hmm. And we all felt strongly about it, and I knew once we did the video, I knew it was out of here. It was a wrap. And not only that, even the way we came up with changing the name, and we were like, you know what? Instead of calling it Bitch I Feel Amazing, we should call it Biffa, which I think was another aspect of that song being like, Biffa? Like,
what does that
mean? Yeah. Now we can talk to you about it. You know what I mean? It's just, that was such a fun time, man. It was such a good time. And I was actually coming into myself as an artist, and I felt confident. And you could tell that in the studio. I was more confident, 100%. Wrote those and could pen it. But like, I love that. I went with an old Drake flow, I think, from back in the day on one of his like So Far Gone records. If you believe, like, I'm trying to remember what record it was, but I didn't steal the flow, but I was like, I'm gonna go like real H-Town with this. You know what I mean? Like, man, I'm from the dub. And won't catch me in the club. You know what I mean? Because those are that's the real. Like, you wasn't gonna catch me in the club. Eastside 29th, yep, that's where I'm from. My dude Keith was locked up at the time. Shout out to Keith. Like, all of those things, and like, that was a fun time.
It was
bro.
a fun time. And what I love even more is that it's like, I say now that we got contemporary rap, right? For the first time, we got adult contemporary rap where Jay's dropping 444, shit like that. Like, it's grown up music. Rap used to be a young man's game. Now it's grown up music. Yeah. And we are all, me, you, Kyle, we are in a space, Chris Barnett, I'm trying to think of who else right off the top of my mind, but we are in a space of grown men music. That's fire as fuck. Yeah. It's high quality. It's and it's just a level of real life that people can appreciate as they grow with us as artists.
Absolutely.
Right? And I truly believe Biff is one of those joints as well that, I mean, I'm going to say it's timeless. But it's one of those that I
played it the other day.
You feel me? Mm-hmm. But it lends to that growth as men. Before we part for the day, though, because we could talk forever.
I know we could.
And people don't have the longest attention spans, which y'all been tapped in this long, so I appreciate and love y'all. What do you want to part with? What you got for the people? Well,
for me, man, like, the biggest thing is, like, obviously press play on the single Whoa. It's doing really good right now. I'm loving where the streams are at and everything like that. But what's dope about that record is, like, pinning it and knowing that's the one. Like, I don't even cuss on that record. It's crazy to me. Like, when I go back and listen to it, it wasn't intentional. Like, I did not cuss. I didn't, and that's when I feel like I'm now in my own. Like, I'm pinning without having using crutch words or things like that. So that was good for me. But, like, it is important this year that I release music, bro, and have fun doing it, and doing it in the sense of my kids. My kid is now 2. I really wanted to spend that year with them. I took off the year. The section dropped 2020, and that was important. And then 2021, I let go by. 2022, I'm dropping the single. Dropped on my birthday, July 10th. So I'm glad everybody pressed play on it. And not only that, I've been happy about people viewing it. You know, it's been a slow roll. I'm not looking for 1 million views. I don't care about none of that, to be honest with you. What I care about is authenticity. Like, even if you're going to give it a thumbs down, comment. You know, comment on there and say, you know, like, I mess with it. I think I even got a comment on there. It's like, not real hip hop. I'm cool with that. Like, everybody is supposed to have an opinion. You know what I mean? I think what I don't like is, like, if you press and play and you too cool to show love or give a thumbs down. Be the only one to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be the one to do it, be the one to do it. And I think it just comes from that. So just, I want to leave people with that. Like, check out that single and then just embrace what's getting ready to come. I'm super excited for what we got in store. And it's not even just me, it's the L7 team. Like, I'm so happy where X is right now and 7, and they're back together. But there's one thing I wasn't going to say, but I'm going to say it just because it's for the town. Like, you know, when we talk about just embracing, like, and bringing that thing back home, you was mentioning, you know, what I need to do for home, and like the Outside remix. Big shout out to Scooney. We go way back. MWB, you know, absolutely. I mess with my guy. Like, he already knows, and we even have a record. You know, already. Like, we have a record. Had a record before that came out, but I should have been on that Outside remix, bro. I'm gonna hold you accountable for that. Like, I just feel like when it comes down to it, when we talk about hitters, and I get it. Like I said, don't nobody owe me nothing. But if you don't think that motivated me, it did. You know, at the end of, and out of respect for, I got love for that whole line. Like, honestly, I need to be. Let me be clear. I even say it on the record. Like, like the record goes like, I'm outside, but it's cool that I wasn't outside. With respect, that's how I felt. That's just no lie. I got love for that whole line. No, this ain't a magazine, but I'm a whole vibe. I mean, I kind of go crazy on it. And it's no shot at him. It's just him letting him know at like, we go back. I mess with you as an artist. I think when Outside dropped, and he can verify this, I called him, and I don't do that. And I'm like, bro, this is the one. This is the one. If you need help with anything when it comes to streaming or whatever, like, let me know. And and we left it at that, but that was the one. And so when the remix came, I just felt like I needed to be a part of it. I know X was reached out to. I just felt like I needed to be a part of that. And so, it motivated me, and maybe that was how it's supposed to happen. I needed to get motivated, and I don't got no hard feelings, because honestly, in his mind, it probably wasn't even a thought. You know what I mean?
Even you said, I think that's even one of the highest compliments.
Yeah, of course.
That we can lend as an artist. Absolutely. Artists, like, yo, that joint was so fire. Like, what you did was crazy. I would love to be a part of that. Like, that's, and like you said, it takes a lot. You just mentioned it earlier. It takes a lot of humility to even reach out for a feature. Yeah, absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Like, I don't reach out to nobody for features. I know. And here's the thing. Respectfully, but I'll answer the call if they like, yo, like, for sure. Yeah. Because niggas turn me down twice. Oh, hold on. See, now I'm about to get in my... Go ahead. I don't really be in my rapper shit on the Thinking Out Loud podcast. Please go there. But I had 2 other artists on Sound Advice. So Swivel, I produced that joint with Heavy in mind. Shout out to Heavy. He was going crazy. We're straight out of Kansas. Yeah. Produced that joint with Heavy in mind. Sent him the beat. He didn't hit me back. It's quick enough as I felt like I needed to be responded back to. Of course. And we all got shit going on. That's just the rapper shit in me. Yeah. And then Affairs in Order was supposed to have 8-0 on it. Oh, wow. I sent it to him. Got no response back. And granted, it might have been like a day or 2 before I got a response. Yeah. But granted, the rapper in me was like, well, fuck that. I'm gonna keep it pushing. Yeah. And you see it, but you know they seen the message. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what it comes down to. Very respectfully. And then and I love those guys. 8-0 is my favorite rapper from the town, 100%. I had another joint. Reached out to a young rapper. I'm not even gonna say his name. I reached out to a young rapper. It was a different type of energy. It's a bop. It's like some really like Sam with the braids type energy. Sent him the joint. I just knew he was gonna be an energy, and he said, "You know what? This ain't the Sam that I was wanting to get on the song with." Never shot anything ever again. Wow. Because how I felt. Like, nah, but I get it at the same time, because we all artists, and we all are that dude in our respectful space. Absolutely. So, shout out to all 3 of y'all, man. It's the biggest. And again, it's a big shout out to Scoon. Like, I really don't think in his mind he thought about it. But what it did for an artist is it motivated me. And I need to be clear. I'm no hater. Like, I knew the song. The song is a great song. If I'm a hater, I wouldn't have called you and told you before there was ever thought about a remix, how I felt about it. So when it came down to it, though, it's like, as an artist, like, I was hungry. I was hungry to join up. You know what I mean? And but it's cool, because I think everything worked out the way it was supposed to. We do have a record. Like, I feel like I go crazy on this. It's been a minute. I didn't even hit. I don't even know if it's gonna come out of his hands. But I will say this: like,
I wanted that, and I just wanted to make sure like it was understood. Like when it comes to this Wichita thing, like I'm definitely foot on the gas, trying to bring it home, trying to tap into more of the hometown. And I'm saying this real humbly, you know what I mean? Like, I want to tap into the town. Rello can verify this. I told Rello I wanted to do a song with Scooney. So just out of respect, so that it's clear, like I've always had respect for Scooney and the things that he does. And people don't know this, but me and Scooney go back. I won't even go 100, but we go back.
Yeah.
So,
collegiate.
He knows I was doing this rapping thing for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
shout out to Scooney. Me and Scooney, high key. I mean, I don't even know if I can say it, but I say what I want on my podcast. We got a little key EP coming soon. Scooney is somebody that can call me, and I'll pull up to the studio at like 10 o'clock at night and leave at like 1, 2 in the morning.
Because he lives in the studio.
He lives in the studio.
You know what I mean?
You feel me?
When you live in the studio and it's a grind, I wish I could have those days again. You know
100%.
That's why I gotta put the studio in the crib now.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
But and we all move a little bit different. I love Scooney because he's always in the studio and he's always invited.
Scooney is a professional rapper.
Yeah, and I sit there and I'm a professional perfectionist. You know what I mean?
Right. Like,
so for me, it's just like, all right, well, I'm creating these spaces, but I just need to elevate my spaces and not be afraid. But I need to get up at 10 o'clock in the night and go to the studio with Scooney. And that's not something we've ever built that rapport on a music tip. So I'm going to always give him that credit. That's why it's never no hard feelings. I really don't think it went through his mind. But it's not going to stop me from saying like what is transparent and what was on my heart at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So out of respect, like I got mad love for him and I'm not at all upset. You know, I mean, the record's going to stand the test of time.
For sure.
Yeah.
You saying if a nickel bag is sold in the park, I want in. I like the energy. I like the energy.
Now, you know
especially now. And I love the space you at, Freddie. Like this has been a blast.
It's been fun, bro.
It's been fun. Like I appreciate you pulling up out of your busy day. You got shit to do, and you pulled up to have a conversation with me.
Would you mind having me back home when the project get ready to drop?
Yes, indeed. You heard it here first. When the project about to drop, come here first. You got a new video you want to debut before it goes to YouTube. Come here first, because if it's on YouTube, they might take it down once it's on my joint. Come here first. Artists in general, come to the Thinking Out Loud podcast if you're trying to get your shit off. Like you are only the second round. I'm only like 8 episodes in, but you're just the second hip hop artist that I've had, you and Chris Barnett. So you know it's a real love thing. So I thank you for your time.
And you hit me up a while ago, so it's not like you weren't trying to get me.
Come on.
I appreciate that, bro.
But you pulled up. I'm grateful to have you as a friend, as a peer in this music space, as a fellow father, right, and husband who is moving real life forward, because we influence so many on accident just by doing what we do. And you are also somebody who is able to balance the professional space, walk in the professional rooms, be, I'm sure at times, the only one in the room, and speak your truth and move things forward for the entire culture at all levels. So I appreciate you. I love you.
I love you too, bro.
And I'm glad you could stop by for Thinking Out Loud.
Podcast. And y'all, send your kids to the Y, North Y. They fine. They gonna fight every once in a while. They gonna get a little rowdy, but we got them. I promise we got them. And if they want to do music, tell them to holler at us too, because I think that's something we can impact, bro. But I appreciate you having me on, my guy.
100%.
All love, bro. Yes, sir.
Peace, big love, big blessings.
All of that in between. Ain't that what you say?
And everything
in between. Okay, I'm gonna get it right. I'm gonna get it.
Q critics.
Yeah, hold on. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talk about it. Ooh, that boy a critic, yeah, he talk too much. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talk about it. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talk too much. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talk it, he don't live it. Ooh, that boy a critic. Ooh, that boy a critic. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talk it, he don't live it. Ooh, that boy a critic. Yeah, I know. How you never there, but be the first to offer commentary. I mean, nobody asked you. All your conversation is voluntary. And you talking to yourself, playing with yourself, solitary. I mean, it kinda makes sense if this talk increased your monetary. But you out hating for free, you do that shit so well. Next time you speak on me, say my name. It ring bells, you know me. I don't need no introduction in this bitch. You know me, I'm the one that keep it jumping in this bitch. Young OG, streets gave me that name. I was honored. I be walking how I talk it. When I walk it, got them bothered. I don't understand, dog. I really took it farther. I gave niggas the game, plus I'm a really great father. Oh, he think he Siskel. Oh, he think he Ebert. First it was all love, now he Brutus to my Caesar. First it was all love, now he Judas to my Jesus. Praying on my downfall, you're such an overachiever. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talk about it. Ooh, that boy a critic, yeah, he talk too much. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talk about it. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talk too much. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talk it, he don't live it. Ooh, that boy a critic. Ooh, that boy a critic. Ooh, that boy a critic, he just talk it, he don't live it. Ooh, that boy a critic.